What is up, everybody? Welcome to Shared Screens Media Club, your one-stop shop for reviews, discussions, recaps on movies, video games, TV shows, but never books. It's been a while since we had done this, but a new MCU show is out on Disney Plus, Secret Invasion, and we will be here for the next 6 weeks going over every episode with you guys. Joining me today is Austin J. Ernst,
Hello, I'm here. Let's talk some scrolls.
along with Jim Tasty.
All of my talking points today are generated by AI.
I fucking hate him.
Leanne couldn't be on the podcast because we actually found out she was a Skrull. So we stabbed that Skrull right in the head. We're looking for the real Leanne.
Wow.
Hopefully
I didn't
next
know
week
that at
we'll
all.
find her back. Yeah. No, it was horrible. It was horrific. Yeah. And it wasn't like recent. Like Leanne I've known since high school. Been a Skrull the whole time, man.
Dang.
Who knew?
Yeah. All right, guys. So first new Disney Plus MCU show in a while. I want to just get basic surface level takes to start. For me personally, I think this was a solid fucking opening. Has the political thriller vibes of a Winter Soldier, and if they can keep this energy and pace the episodes well, this might be I think the potential to be like one of the better MCU shows. But again, we know they tend to fumble at the end in terms of pacing.
Mhm.
But there was something about the energy in this one where it really just felt like this was part one of a movie.
No, I totally agree. I'm right there with you. I enjoyed. I think it's a good, not great first episode. There's something about it that I just wasn't wowed. I think there's more to Fury than he's given. I think there are probably a bunch of clues and hints in this episode that we don't even know the meaning of yet. Like there's probably a bunch of giveaways already, but we just don't understand how they tie into anything yet.
And that's in a way
That's my
why
assumption.
that's actually why I think it's so good. I'm ready to find out all the questions that I know they're setting up, because this is also another one where I don't have to worry too much about the external MCU. I can just kind of watch this as a series, and it's going to do a good job of adding a new plot line into the MCU, but also really giving us a dive into Nick Fury, which we've not fully gotten. And so
Not since, was it Winter Soldier? Was that the one where we got a lot of him?
yeah, and I guess you get a lot of him in Captain Marvel as well. But I mean, like this one's going to really be like I think a Nick Fury character study, because he's in
it less. Yeah, he's in the MCU less than you think. Yeah, it's one of
They
those
should
like
just titled it Fury. I think they should probably call this Fury if this is the direction they're going to go. But I do think like the first like 5 to 10 minutes, like the whole, it's not 10 minutes, but like the Ross thing at the beginning, like I loved that. And go ahead.
like
No, go ahead.
like I won't say like I called it, but like as that chase was going on,
Sure.
I was like, something's not up. And then like when he just fell and bit it, I was like, okay, what? Like it can't be Ross. And then yeah, it gets revealed.
The Ross I know can jump a solid 13 feet. Like there's no way.
Dude bit it. He didn't even get like a full leap. He kind of like slipped before. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. But my big one want is that there's going to be at least one like core, not core hero, but like a hero that is a Skrull and has been a Skrull for a while. And
you think so?
I want that reveal. That's what I want. I don't know if that's true or likely, but I don't want it to just be like the politicians or like the corporate espionage angle.
It can't be
Skrulls. I want someone in the core
set
of heroes to be a Skrull still on our side.
Any reoccurring character that gets shown to be a Skrull, like Ross, which I knew in the opening one of them was a Skrull, but I kept going back on who it was, and if it was Ross that was the Skrull, I was like, does he know? Like, is he in on it? Because I'm not a Secret Invasion expert. I almost said Secret Wars, but I think in the comics it was kind of known as Secret Wars as well. It gets real confusing around here, but I'm not an expert on the Skrull Secret Invasion timeline, but I do know that, or the Skrulls were originally pitched as really the bad guys. And Captain Marvel gave us hey, no, they're actually kind of good. And now this is like more a faction. But anybody who is confirmed to be a Skrull, that's like a semi-major character. I feel like they need to kind of find a way to tell us how long they've been a Skrull. Because if we find out that he's been a Skrull since, when was the first time we ever meet his character?
Me who?
Ross?
Yeah.
Ross?
Was it Black Panther?
One,
I want to say that, but it feels wrong.
Yeah, I think there's one before Black Panther, but Black Panther was when we got like, oh no, it was
Civil War.
Yeah, because
Civil
there's
War.
like that meeting and like that.
Nope,
He's in
that's the
Civil
other
War.
Ross. That's the
He's
other.
in.
That's Thunderbolt Ross. That's
No,
No,
William.
he's
they're
in,
That's
both. They're both
he's
in
in
it.
he's in Civil War because he catches Zemo and he's like, "We got you," and then Zemo's like, "Did you remember that?"
I have there's a scene I have in my head of like they're in a white building and there's Ross and like two other behind him and then they meet up with someone else and they have like a talk.
that's Black Panther
Okay, fuck, my bad.
or
Wait, can
Black
I
Panther 2.
can I give my general
I
impressions real
think you're
quick?
right that he is in
Yeah, Brett,
Civil War. But yeah, Brett, go ahead.
go ahead.
Uh, kind of like what Jordan said. I think you said this. Like it's good, not great. Um, that was you. Okay. I was like, I think it's awesome, but I doubted myself at the end there.
Okay.
I mean, just the concept, and hopefully they can like really kind of like you said, like a big reveal of another character or major character or whatever. Like just like the uncertainty of like anybody could be a Skrull. Like that's haunting, man. That's like
Mhm.
intense. Like
It's such a cool concept, and they did it really well in the comics, and I hope that this. I don't want a 1-to-1, but I want something of
Yeah.
that ilk.
I'll call right now
Caliber.
who I think, if they're going to make somebody that's like more a core hero, a Skrull. I think I'll call right now who I think it's going to show up to be.
who?
Rhodey. I think we get confirmation that Rhodey.
You think
was
that's too obvious though? That he's like here and like he's
No, because I
would
feel
be
like
disappointed. I would be disappointed.
Again,
because he's like the one like outside character in the show
that like doesn't
that-
fit in with the rest.
that's not like but like but like I felt the tension of like the Skrull aspect here, but like not fully yet. Like I really need to be like, holy shit, like they could be anybody. I do like how they played with it, like when Talos picked up Gaia in the cab, and they were both two different people, and then it just cuts to another scene, and they're like their normal human forms.
Oh,
That was like a nice little subtle.
I didn't pick up on that he was the driver.
Yeah,
I thought she
'cause-
was getting into the taxi as one person, but then exiting as Amelia Clark.
because he got
That's-
out too.
I didn't
right
notice
there.
that he got out as well. That's what it is.
That's like genius. That's just a great way to play with the Skrull aspect. Just because like it's going to be hard to like track where like people are, and that's why they added that like little lore thing of like, you know, we're going to be these humans longer so we can like fully know who they are versus like the Captain Marvel, like, oh, we only know like their like brief memories.
Yeah,
and
they're
I
using
can't
that
believe
tech to really, I guess, absorb their mind and their memories and understand the things, not just their interpersonal relationships, but I think also like if you're hypothetically, let's say to somebody like Rhodey or Ross, those government secrets that they have access to and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that mind thing seems to be something similar to the Captain Marvel, memory thing with brain scatter thing.
I assume it's alien tech, but also knowing that part of the reason that Rhodey is in here is to set up Armor Wars. I wonder if it's something about it is being enhanced by Stark or Hammer tech.
Wasn't there a rumor that Armor Wars isn't happening anymore or something like that? Like,
I hope not. I want Don Cheadle to get his own show.
It got like
it's a
really
movie
scaled
now
back and changed.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like a part of the slate or something. But anyways, here's a TikTok clip for us right now. All right, this is gonna be the breakout. I don't mind the AI opening intro. Bam, because it's meant to look off. The whole art style of like what is it, the Monet or Van Gogh or whatever, like Starry Night, like it's supposed to be not concise. And AI art is like a Skrull version of real art. It's not perfect with the imitation. So I'm okay with it.
And so Marvel has come out and said that was the point of it, is that they...
I didn't even see that. I didn't see that, by the way. That's just my own thinking.
Sorry, not even they came out and said it. In the original article that said this, and I don't think the message got fully across because a lot of people do just read the headlines. Marvel explained that they did the AI opening because of that kind of, I know they're not humans, but for lack of a better word, the uncanny valley aspect that AI art does. And I was kind of like, okay, I get this. But other people have also pointed out that like, okay, but whose art was the AI trained on? Which now has kind of made me walk back my opinions on it. because I was kind of like you, Brett, where they didn't just go to Chat GPT and type in, "Give me a green intro involving aliens that says starring Samuel L. Jackson," and then they just threw that on there. Like they went to a company who used AI to help make it. So if Marvel was to tell us, "Hey, we took this AI program, isolated it, fed it images, kind of maybe concept art of what we want, and we trained it to then kind of make it this weird, uncanny look," I would be so much more on board, because I think that shows how AI can be used as a tool and not as a replacement. Because the reality is, and this goes for all jobs, not just artists, AI is going to be a tool. It's not going to be a full on replacement.
Yeah, it's going to be a tool, and this is like not the point of the show at all, but like eventually it's going to need to be like legislated or something where like people can't use it for certain things, kind of like Terminator stuff, but like
Yeah.
it's a whole
Or
other
it's
different
never going to
discussion.
be good enough for us to actually get it the way we want. And so it ends up just being used as a tool.
I don't mind it because, and like, you know, or like, is the internet mad? Like some dude didn't get $100,000 check for doing the intro. Like
But that's the thing. They did
Marvel
still
has the
hire.
money.
They
Yeah.
still did go to an outsource group to make this. That group chose to use AI.
Because then you go back to like, you know, man, why aren't people building cars anymore? You know, and like the robot arms are put in the car. You know, like it's, you know, it's kind of the same thing, right?
I guess my follow-up question is, couldn't you have gotten the exact same result by paying an artist and then giving them that direction?
Probably something similar, and it probably would look better too. But the intent, I get it. Like it does look off, but that's the whole point of this. The theme of this show is like,
I agree with that. I think there's
we're
more.
not.
I think there's a lot more to the theme. Like I think there's like a lot more like xenophobic themes in Secret Invasion that I think like they should focus on. And
I mean, they touched on it with like the Russia stuff and like
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson being black. Like,
Yep.
they dropped that slur too, and that was
I
like,
didn't know that was a slur.
Oh yeah.
I looked it up, and it's a double entendre, because it was a term for spies and was also used as a slur. And him being a black spy, it works both ways.
Oh, that makes the line that he said made a lot more sense, because like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
But when I looked it up, because I was like, what? I feel like I'm missing a little bit of something here. It is also a term for spy or secret agent. So not a nice double entendre there.
I didn't know that part. I did know the slur part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the intro looks that great. B, I do think I agree it establishes that theme. C, my thing about it is just I really think you could have got that same result by paying someone to do that. And when you are at Disney, you have buckets of money.
You know what?
But that's just me. Pay artists.
Something that comes to mind with me is, I wonder if it would be hard for a human to replicate that uncanny AI look the way AI can't replicate something perfectly. Because when you purposely try to make it distorted, it's different than it actually being weirdly distorted.
Yep. We should have AI edit this episode.
I wish. I'm going to get back to playing Final Fantasy 16.
And write
AI make the thumbnail.
Mine kind of looks like I put it. I'm very simplistic with my thumbnails, so it kind of looks like AI.
Every time I mess with like the dolly or whatever, like it looks terrible. So whatever thing they use is better than that stuff. So, but let's transition. I want to talk about Fury as a character, because like we said earlier, like we haven't seen him in a minute, like as a major force. You know, he was quote unquote in Far From Home, stuff like that, bits and pieces there.
Far From Home is where we got that reveal that Fury was parading.
That Fury was a Skrull. Yeah,
and I think it's been confirmed. Yeah, I think it's been confirmed that it was kind of post blip where he fucked off into space and was using Talos to be him on the ground, and it's not that Fury's been Skrull since the 90s when he first met them.
So I want to talk about, again, kind of like this first episode is good, not great, but like it could be great if like we continue with this momentum, hopefully, or if they just go up a level. Like I think the concept, the idea of like Fury, this character who's so strong in their convictions and beliefs and choices, like suffering a crisis of faith, that's like very compelling. And they didn't like completely nail it, I feel like, in this first episode, but they did a pretty good job, I'd say.
Of setting it up.
And I'm interested to see if they can nail it, because that's like I thought Samuel L. Jackson was great in this episode. Like
Yep.
he
Yeah.
was like really, when him and Olivia Colman were talking, and he's like, like call a brother, and he's like just the way he shaked his head, like I mean he's an A-list actor, so like,
Mhm.
but it was incredible. So I don't know what you guys think about that. Like if that engaged with you too.
No, absolutely. Because, like, it makes a lot of sense that the snap would be the thing that sends Nick Fury into this crisis of faith, because it truly was the one time he couldn't be multiple steps ahead and he couldn't have a contingency plan. Like, it was just space magic and he was snapped into dust. There is no, like, plan for that. And so I want them to dive into that the way Iron Man 3 kind of dealt with Tony's PTSD.
Mhm.
Like, I'd really love to see that.
I think we're gonna get both versions of Nick Fury in that case. I think he's still moves ahead in terms of this secret invasion, if you will, because they're teasing like they have chess, they have chess in here, they have a chess board, they have a bunch of like checkered shirts and stuff like that. They're teasing that like he has this shit on lock, but he
And
doesn't because
people
I
have
mean
called him
Maria Hill
out.
fucking got shot. But I think we're gonna also get that angle where he has his plans and he's setting into motion, but we're also gonna get the PTSD angle. We're gonna get both
Yeah,
like simultaneously.
because what I would love to find out is what Sonya and Maria Hill are saying true, where they're like, where Maria Hill said, "Oh, the Fury I know has always been 3 steps ahead," and Sonya says to him, like, "The fact that you didn't know my guys were behind you tells me that you've lost your touch." And he goes, "Oh, I did
See,
that on purpose." I would love to see what's the correct answer in that. Is he acting weaker? I mean, not that it's not fully authentic, but is he acting like he doesn't have the steps ahead as part of his plan, or has he truly lost his touch and maybe it is time that he steps back?
yeah, see, I thought he like got caught on purpose, because like
Mhm.
he's walking out at midnight, like just like
And
I'm
he
like,
knows
come on,
that
like
in Russia he specifically will like stand out
Yeah.
I think
and like
and yeah, we'll talk
I
about
don't
it
even
later, but
I don't even think that limp is real. I think it's all a ruse. I think he's
that's
I
what
fine.
he's
mean
been doing in
he's
space. He's been watching 8 seasons of House, just learning how to
well,
limp like Hugh Laurie.
that could be, Samuel L. Jackson's what, like 70 something now,
Sure.
and
It could just be
um
him.
could just be him. It could be, like when
He's
you're
not
in
even
space
acting in that
for
moment.
a long time, like your bones get less dense, and
Yeah.
muscles atrophy, stuff like that. So
You get an inch taller as
if they
well.
really went that level, like that deep, that'd be dope. I don't know if they like actually like are
Sure.
doing that with that movement. Could be.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Just talking about his performance, I did really like how like you get like the human side of him when they're gonna approach like that arts dealer guy who's a scroll, and then as soon as he enters the room, he's back to like the Nick Fury we know. And I know that's like such a thing that's like it's a given with SLJ as an actor, but I really love those moments where it's just like in a
Yeah.
like a drop of a hat, you get both sides of the coin. I enjoyed that
uh,
whole entire scene. It was weird, but like the performance itself was really good. I think.
Yeah, and we're definitely getting a big look into his weaknesses here, because there is that one Skrull who we do not know why is getting him kind of like is the guy
Gravik.
at the
Gravik or
end.
whatever.
Is that his
Gravik
name?
or
Is
The
that
main
Ravik?
bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gravik.
The one who shot, and I guess I'm going to assume that shot was telling us that killed Maria Hill,
Yeah.
where like he disguised himself as Fury, and then like
that whole thing, like they fumbled the bag so hard.
oh yeah,
Literally, they fumbled the 3 bags.
You mean like the whole operation? Yeah. As soon as
Like,
they're going into it, I'm like, this it's a decoy. Like none of those are gonna have anything. Like yeah.
yeah.
I
But
thought it was
like,
yeah.
pretty
yeah,
telling.
they're just like hanging around there. It's like, come on, the
Yeah.
Skrulls like know who you look like. Like,
But
Mhm.
I really want to know what the history is with Ravik and with Sonya, because with Sonya,
Gravik with a G, I think. I
Gravik.
think.
yeah,
Okay, with Sonya, I'm wondering if so in the comics, Valentina, the
Sure.
one that
Yes.
Julia Louis Dreyfus plays, She was Nick Fury's ex-wife, but they changed it so that she was Ross's ex-wife in Wakanda Forever. I wonder if Sonya's supposed to be another version of kind of that same character where she has a history with Nick Fury, and I don't know, the history they had between them felt a little more romantic than just, old work buddies.
I mean, the only thing, this has nothing to do with what you're talking about, but you talk about like Nick Fury getting romantic. I'm pretty sure he's got some sensual stuff going on up in Saber with some Skrulls. I think he's getting down and dirty up there with Skrulls. I'm just saying it right now.
Probably if he's been up there for a few years.
Who's better than somebody that could turn into anyone you want?
No. I'm saying
it's why Mystique is also like yo, I want to get with Mystique. She could be anything
yes,
I want.
There was some tension there. I totally agree. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
Rest in peace
to Maria Hill.
Yeah, I can't believe they killed her, bro.
I
feel kind of robbed because, like, again, even less so, like with Fury, like she was in a couple things, and then that was it. Like,
we never got a ton of her. Yeah.
No, and I was really hoping that this show was going to be it. That this show.
I know. Yeah. Like that's why one of the few saving graces of Avengers, the video game, was like, for a time, Maria Hill took a more active role in that game, and so that was cool to see her run the show.
And I mean, that is what happens in the comics.
She was shown as just as capable. Yeah, like she's the number 2, but she could be number one as well.
She's only number 2 because Nick Fury's still around, and anytime he's left, like in Civil War or like in Marvel's Avengers, where it's like a different situation, she's always the one that becomes the next Nick Fury. And I would have loved to see this show that aspect of her, like show that she's capable, as well as maybe show that that's what she's been doing since he's been up on Saber. Also, Saber's a new name, right? Because it was supposed to be Sword.
If it's my understanding is
Saber, or is Saber the name of the the station?
I think
station.
So. Yeah. I could be wrong, but that's how I.
Yeah, Saber space station. Saber is also an intergalactic space defense organization.
Gotcha, and
part of Sword. It's like a branch of Sword.
Sword is like like research stuff. Yeah, I guess it's like all.
It keeps reminding me of Pokemon because it's Sword and Shield, and it's.
I get it. I understand.
Yeah. Austin's here.
Swords and sabers are slightly different. Yeah.
Like not really reveal, but how Gravik kept turning into characters that we had already seen and then.
Dude, like when the people were making out on the bench and
that girl.
And like I changed to her. Yeah. Like again, those little details where it's like, dude, that's like fucking scary, man. Like,
yeah. No,
I
like that whole sequence I really enjoyed. I do think that the whole you were totally right, Brett, where like they completely just fumbled the bag on that entire operation. But like the creepy sequence where the Skrulls are like one step ahead of Fury essentially.
Now if
I enjoyed that.
If I'm Talos and if I'm Talos and Nick Fury and I'm shooting Gaia like off the rip, like we thought you were with us. We thought you were with us, like and
at the very least, like right in the kneecap so she can't run away.
Isn't that Talos' daughter?
Yeah.
Is that wrong? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're shooting your daughter? Just pa!
Well, we'll let Nick shoot. We'll let Fury shoot him, just like he shot the Skrull. He was
I thought the reveal was that the drug dealer Skrull was going to be Talos' kid because he was like, "No, don't shoot him."
No, he just didn't want to kill one of his
kill another Skrull. Yeah, like their numbers are so little, he'd rather keep them together. But yeah, I liked also the pacing of that chase scene with Gravik because it was like, oh, is he onto what Nick's doing? Is he going to fight back? And then it just became no, I know that you know, and I don't care. And I'm going to stare you down as I turn into different people every few steps. And like, there's nothing.
In plain sight.
Yeah.
Like out in the open. Yeah.
Like it became a point where it's like he had the upper hand just by being like, yeah, I'm aware you're watching me. What are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. And they didn't do anything about it because they fumbled the 3 bags.
They fumbled the 3 bags.
Yeah. Speaking of the cameos, I just thought like, yeah, they're going to have to bring in backup, right? Like right now it's just Fury and Talos, right?
Yeah.
So
Fury, Talos, and a dream.
The real Ross.
The real Ross maybe, or somebody else like
I mean, I
they're gonna
assume the
need to
real
bring.
Ross is in one of those pods.
Pods. See,
I don't think so, because like those
Yeah.
guys seem like they're effed and they're not gonna make it out of there, or if that.
Oh, I
mind
assume if
flayer
you turn it
thing-
off, they come back. I just think it puts them in like a place of stasis where you can then absorb their memories.
Just going off of Star Wars with like the mind flayer and stuff like that, like you're in a tough
You're toast.
spot.
You're
Yeah.
So this might surprise you. Star Wars and Marvel are different.
Well,
just like fantasy storytelling, you know, if
Yeah.
a mind device goes on you, or it's going to take you a bit to like, you know, come back to your senses. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they have Ross. I think that guy was just like Ross may be MIA or something.
Remember,
that guy
like-
jumped in and took his form, but
remember, they can just like they just can look at them and take their form. Like they don't
Yeah,
need to be.
But if you really want to
picking their
blend in,
nose.
you have to take their memories.
correct.
Yeah.
The only thing you get from that machine is like their memories.
But again, you get, remember, like Captain Marvel, like they get like, you know, just like a brief overview of them if they take their form. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume the backup is going to end up being going back to Rhodey because he was told to like figure out why Nick Fury basically went AWOL. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that brings them together and gets Rhodey involved in some way. But maybe also he doesn't want to get involved because it's like, hey, I'm not supposed to be touching this.
my question is, does Nick Fury not have like carte blanche, however you say it, like to just go wherever and do whatever he wants? Like you think that a dude of that
I think he
tenure and
does.
stature, like the president's like, where is he? It's like, bro, like you can't talk about it because it's.
I think
it's
Nick
like,
is at the point where he's like, I can't trust anyone. Like I don't know who's a Skrull at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm
Also-
just gonna take care of
and
this
that,
myself.
yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out to that actor playing the president. I only know him from Shameless.
Okay, so
But
I didn't.
good looking Silver Fox to have as our president in the MCU.
For now.
Oh,
for now.
that dude is totally dying because Harrison
Yes.
Ford, Thunderbolt Ross, is going to be the president, right?
Mhm.
That
Yep.
dude is definitely a
confirmed.
Skrull or dead.
Or
Thunderbolt
both.
Ross currently the vice president in that case.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I could see
Because
that.
in
Like,
Civil
that's-
War he was Secretary of State, and I feel like that's a downgrade. The Secretary of State does something, and the vice president doesn't.
Oh no,
Uh,
this guy. Yeah. This guy, I know him from New Girl. The president.
That's right. That's right.
He's like
Yeah.
the sexy old guy that Jess dates.
He's always the sexy old guy that somebody dates, because that's who he was in Shameless.
He's still sexy and old.
He is a
oh, yeah,
very
that
good
second part
looking
ain't changing.
Silver Fox.
Yeah, that guy's toast, right? Like anyone that like,
Yes, confirmed.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
because literally, like,
Thunderbolt
know.
Ross is going to be president, and that's been confirmed in like the next Captain America movie, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and Thunderbolts. I think he's going to be in both.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Dermot Mulroney. I always forget his name.
So who
he should change his last name to Maloney. That's just way easier to say.
who do
It
we
is.
think is? Because I do agree. I think the easy poll would be Rhodey is like the Skrull and has been for a while. But I want someone else. I want like
Okay, question.
I want, like, Happy.
So
I want like
so-
Happy Hogan to be a Skrull.
So, like with Rogue One, right? No Jedi. Are we gonna get a Marvel TV show / movie with like no powers? Because if Rhodey's
What
a
did you call
Skrull,
the shape-shifting a power?
I mean like someone in flying in a suit or super like Captain America or Thor or Hulk or like because the Skrulls like.
I think I've seen. They've already confirmed in a trailer that Super Skrulls are in here, and Super Skrulls use abilities, even though it's not a 1-to-1. But there are Super Skrulls in this show.
They're showing. I thought it was in the Marvels, but I don't know how they're gonna do it because the Super Skrull copy is a Fantastic
Correct.
Four, and that's still like 5 years away now.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how, but I'm pretty sure in a trailer we saw a Super Skrull do some weird shit with his arms. And I'm like,
Gotcha.
I just don't know how we get there, but I'm pretty sure I've seen footage of that.
Kind of like going back with like the like cameo, like the if a Skrull is impersonating a known character that we've seen before, like it can't be someone too important because then it's like, oh man, Captain America was not real the whole time. That totally screws over,
Again, I think it goes back
all
to
of the other stuff he was in, or whatever.
so one of the
Or then you got to answer
things
when that it happens. Yeah.
one of the
Does
things that
a Super Skrull become a god if they copy Thor? Like, are they just a god now?
now there's two of them.
How does that work?
Yeah, so I know one of the things that upset a lot of people with the original Skrull storyline in the comics was that it felt like they were a Skrull the whole time, it erased all the character development that happened with them. And so I think to prevent that from happening in the MCU, they need to give us a hero we haven't seen much of lately and kind of tell us when it happened. And I think the snap is the perfect opportunity for a lot of that to have happened. So
So like
I'm
someone
more
who wasn't blipped,
or somebody
right?
who was,
But how?
because then you get 5 years as
But then
them.
you'd have two, right? Because they
But
came back.
they would be one step ahead, knowing there's another one out there.
Hmm.
You got to be
That's
careful
one thing as
because
to why I think Ross is in the pods, because then there would be
I
two
don't think
Rosses
so.
running around.
I don't think so. I think Ross is MIA. Don't
Yeah.
ask me why he's not in the pot, but I think he's just MIA.
But yeah, so like they can't give us they can't give us that somebody was a Skrull the entire time. I think it needs to be somebody like some of these Skrulls saw opportunities and then took him. And again, I just think that realistically the snap makes the most sense because you get 5 years to show, be like, no, I wasn't blipped.
What if this went actually?
Um,
What was? Oh God,
yeah. So
Mordo, that guy from Doctor Strange.
yeah,
Oh,
Mordo.
the guy who went evil
Mordo.
at the end of the first
Yeah, was he
movie.
supposed to be evil like a long time ago? We've never understood anything
Yeah, and
about
then
that.
That was one of the
and then the second one
didn't
took
follow
us
up on
into
that.
like they didn't have time to follow up on that, and so he was just evil in an alternate
But then they
universe.
kind of did in Doctor Strange, but it was like an alternate version of him, right?
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
right. He
What if
is still
he's a
out
Skrull?
there,
What if
and
he's
he's
a Skrull?
supposed to be taking.
This is what he's been waiting a
Yeah.
long time.
So
So
there's just
yeah,
a
Secret
Skrull that's been
Invasion.
sucking magic out of
He's been waiting
sorcerers.
for 15 movies. This guy.
Oh, Benjamin Brad just wants to hoot, man. Like, and he took that away from him. Never forget. It looks like Secret Invasion is mid 2025, so it's like as far as like latest in the timeline. So it's not like before anything that like it's after everything we know. So, like someone was like talking about Black Panther or something. Like it's
After all of this.
yeah. It's after like She-Hulk and stuff, which is like at the end of the timeline, obviously too. So, um,
Yeah, I don't know if any like core hero could be a Skrull. Like, I just don't think they can make that happen. Hawkeye, maybe. I don't know.
no, it would have to be.
It's rough.
It would have to be like someone new, like almost like a Mysterio situation where they're like, "Oh, this dude's on the scene and they're helping," and then it's
Yeah.
like, and like, someone else like vouches for them, like, yeah, Hawkeye's like, yeah, dude, this guy's like super dope, and then he turns out to be a Skrull. So like, oh dang, like, because like you can't just interfere with anything. That's the balance with like Marvel properties. Like you
I mean,
can't.
they could explain that. I'm not saying it's Hawkeye, but like they could explain that he's only been a Skrull since this time period or whatever.
Dude, what if it's John Walker and that
I
Skrull?
knew it was
God
coming.
fucking
I
damn
knew
it.
it was
That
coming.
guy, that Skrull murdered the terrorist, and the real John Walker would never do that.
This son of a bitch.
The real
Think
John
about
Walker
it.
did do
I
that.
can't. There's no excuse for John Walker. John Walker is just John Walker. All right.
Hey,
he just
they
hit- he
haven't
is-
confirmed or denied.
that
But
he's a Skrull.
it is causing us to kind of look at everybody and be like, what if you're a Skrull?
Yeah, that's the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I remember with Far From Home, there were a lot of people who in the trailers and like scenes that were shown early, clipped out for trailers, whatever, people were like, yeah, Samuel. Or people also said that while they were watching the movie, they're like, Samuel L. Jackson's really phoning it in. This doesn't seem like him at all. Is this character assassination of Nick Fury? Is it just Samuel L. Jackson doesn't care anymore? And then it was just, oh, he's been a Skrull. So it's like, I'm more looking at like, I wonder if there's anybody that's had like a shift in characterization. No, John Walker's always been like that, Brett. Don't give me that look.
Yeah, I thought the Nick Fury performance in Far From Home was like, I thought it was great, and like I wasn't like something's off, but like just subconsciously it was like, okay, 5 to 10%, it's a little bit different here.
Yeah.
What about Sharon Carter?
Power Broker?
Yeah, I think she's up to her own evil shit.
They still gotta like figure that out. They still that was like the one of the things about that show that I didn't like, and I'm like a big fan of that show, obviously. So, but like that would make that even more like lame in retrospect.
Yeah, because I kind of like that
Yeah.
her arc was like, hey, nobody fucking pardoned me, so I had to go to basically the anarchist island and become a criminal to survive. And now I'm kind of sticking with that. Like I kind of like that arc for her. Again, we don't want to. It's a tough dance where we don't want to take away the arcs that these characters have been through either.
Yeah, that's why it's got to be like a new hero or something or whatever. Like,
you know what would be a fun one? Just because I was mad that this character died and I wanted to see him come back because I loved the portrayal so much. What if Claw was a Skrull and the dead body in Black Panther was Skrull Claw? And so Claw, Andy Serkis.
Claw.
Now we gotta.
Skrull Claw is really hard to say. It's harder than you think.
Now we gotta like factor in like Killmonger like seeing some green alien and like dealing with that while all the events of the movie are going on. Like,
that's true too. Because yeah, I mean,
part of me, Harrison Ford's president Skrull. After this is all done, they think they've won, they stopped it, but then he's president. He's a Skrull.
Hear me out, guys. What if the explanation for why Theodore Ross now looks like Harrison Ford instead of the other guy that played him is like it was a Skrull whose powers wasn't that good, or is a Skrull who like took that?
They want him to be the president of the United States.
Well, that's the whole thing. The Skrulls try to infiltrate those governments. And so
didn't they say in this episode already, like they've infiltrated like major world powers and stuff like that?
Yeah, like that's what they want to do. And so, like, what if it's like the Skrull took over Theodore Ross like 30 years ago, where he looked younger, and they were like, I kind of think this is how he's going to age, and I was like, nope, it goes this way, Harrison Ford.
I don't think that's how that works.
We could hear me out when I predicted Rhodey was a skull. Why does he look different in Iron Man 1? Terrence Howard, Skrull.
Well, I don't think that's how that works either, but
bro.
I think about that a lot because I don't remember you said Terrence Howard, was that his name? Is that the actor's name? Because he looked at his suit and he's like, one day or something like that. And then
next time, baby.
His
last line ever was looking at the War Machine suit going, next time, baby. And they were like, no.
Recast.
Well, no, because like I feel like the rift between Gravik and this rogue faction of Skrulls happened. I think it happened after the snap.
Yeah, because it made it take forever because Fury was the one who like made the promise. And he was
I feel like Marvel. Here's another clip. Here's another TikTok breakout. I feel like Marvel is getting the strong too, like because they say the blip for everything, and it's a snap that took him away, and it's the blip that brought him back. You have to differentiate the two. All right.
I also feel like Maria going, you haven't been the same since the blip is because he wasn't there for after the snap.
Or is the blip because
he
5-year time period? Is that what the blip is? I need to look this up.
I actually don't know. Now that we said both of them, I'm like, yes.
Because
I always took it as the snap, Infinity War, the blip, Endgame.
Because they got to quantify the 5-year period where like.
When you say that out loud, the snap is like essentially for the people that survived. Like the snap is what killed everyone else, and the blip is how the people that got snapped away. Like
mentalfloss.com corroborates my argument.
Go on.
Mentalfloss.com corroborates. Snap, everybody disappears. Blip, everybody returns.
Yeah, and I think Maria's saying you haven't been the same since the blip. Yeah.
Oh, Feige said that. Okay, so
yeah. And it makes sense for them to be using blip if they got snapped because there is no post snap for them. There is only post blip.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like the blip is how they saw it happen. They were just gone and then they were back.
Remember in
Sam.
Hawkeye.
in the
We
air.
we
in an
see
airplane.
Florence Pugh. I can't remember her character's name right now.
Yelena.
Elena. Like she goes to like wash her face, and she comes up and the bathroom's changed, and for her nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, that's how Fury saw it.
And he almost dropped the F-bomb. Oh,
Almost, but they're like,
He dropped it
save
when
that
he
for Guardians
spawned.
3.
He dropped it when he spawned in the middle of a road and got hit by a car. That's why he has a limp.
Whoa, confirmed. Whoa, that's crazy. It's not space or anything. It's
I
a
remember
damn
people.
car.
Yeah, like he came back and somebody just heard Ucker. I remember people wanted No Way Home to start with the word Ucker. Or Uck.
That's actually really good. That's actually really
Far
good.
From Home starts with him going, fuck. Yeah.
Because then you can get away with it. You're not doing it. My dogs are barking. I'll be right back.
All right. Do we think Austin's a squirrel?
Dude, his beard looks a little different.
Ooh. And he's wearing green.
Dang,
Interesting.
dude. All right. Would you live on the compound, but you couldn't leave? Would you take that deal?
I don't know, man. I can't say whether or not I would. I've never been in that type of situation.
My question too now, I think they kind of hand waved it with
I do want to touch on that.
So question, like, because I don't know this. So they're like, they dropped that line. They were like, man, there's so many, former radioactive plants in Soviet Russia, and Skrulls are immune to radioactivity, and that's why they're
it's an easy place for them to hide out.
Oppenheimer crossover.
Christopher Nolan's been playing the long game.
But
I did like that drop though. That line. I was like, oh, that's neat. I like that.
Yeah. But like, can satellites not go over those spots and just take pics and stuff?
They did say that
so
they
many,
were
there's
still
so many. It's like, can't you use like the shield, or not shield anymore, but like sword or saber or whatever, and be like, all right, let's just scan all of this. Oh, there's 50 people hanging out at this radioactive plant.
Well, didn't they say that they knew that they were
surveillance.
immune to radiation? Like, didn't
No, but can't you just
that?
like?
Maria Hill was explaining that the reason they're hiding out in nuclear plants is because Russia has the most abandoned nuclear plants in the world, and they're immune to radiation.
Yes.
She also pointed out.
She knows that. Then they probably know that they're somewhere. Then.
Oh, they know that's where they're hiding for the most part.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
And Maria Hill also did say something.
I think they do know that, Brett. I think they do know that they're there.
And
I'm saying, why can't they just
governments, not like Nick and
why can't Nick like Google satellite, Google Earth, and just like go over
that's
like
the
zoom in on his smartphone? I fucking found him. Look at
Maria Hill said
it's like those like Google Drive where it's like somebody's looking, they're like
no, but Maria Hill said,
look at that green fucker.
She said something along the lines of, I don't remember the exact
wording. Be real.
But she said something. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jordan.
I remember her saying that those plants are still under surveillance in some way, shape, or form. And so I imagine the people that are in the military uniforms are like the guards who are usually posted there.
I think those are Skrulls, though.
They are, but they're Skrulls disguising themselves as the guys who are supposed to be there on patrol, and so the satellites don't pick up anything because the main group is underground.
Yeah, it's always possible they're somehow messing with the surveillance too, where they're like it makes it seem like it's clear and no one's there or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But Brett, you said you think a lot of this happened after the blip with the Skrulls. I think that it's something that's been cooking for a while, and I think a lot of it is going to tie back to the events of Captain Marvel.
I'm sure, but like
I think the 5-year gap is what caused a lot of
again, fucking Captain Marvel fumbled the bag again. She's so OP. She blows up Lee Pace's ships in Captain Marvel in 1990, whatever. Goes off to do who knows what. Apparently, she's saving hundreds of planets. We don't know. We need the receipts. We need the receipts on that.
Waiting.
She can't find one planet like with the Skrulls, or like
she's been around,
or like like kind of like a Mon Calamari Quarren Star Wars, where the one species lives in the water, one lives on the land. Like
But I mean, look at Guardians of the Galaxy. How many planets are unoccupied? And if they're unoccupied, it's probably because they're not.
That's what
They
I'm
don't
saying.
that
Like,
you can't find. No, that's what I'm saying. We haven't seen a planet that is both habitable and unoccupied. If they're
how fast
unoccupied, it's
can
because they're uninhabitable.
how fast can Captain Marvel fly?
Oh man, I'm
And
not a mathematician.
I'm
and
googling. It.
then why can't we build a space base on Mars for them with the Marvel tech that they have?
We
Tony
need
Stark again.
we need
Pepper
MCU
Potts
Elon.
again, bro. Pepper Potts. What are you doing with all that money, Pepper Potts?
Captain
What are you
Marvel
doing with
can
all that
move,
money?
She's raising
move
her
as fast
child, Brett.
at 17,000 miles per hour.
Is that comics?
The first thing that popped up on comicbasics.com.
How can your eyes even see that fast? Like, I don't know.
No,
It's like
you
the
can't.
Flash. Like you can't. But
Oh, wait, Austin, how fast?
17,000 miles per hour.
Okay, and light speed is 186,000 miles a second. So significantly slower than light speed, I'd say.
Oh, and maybe that was running. I did just say how fast can she move?
but yeah, like I think it has to be after, like when the split actually happens, like or
There's no
in his
way.
absence, or in
I
his
see this
absence.
as
There's
and
no
like
way that's accurate, by the way,
here
because if she can only move like 17,000 miles per hour, she's just like barely moving in space. Like she's
space is really big. That's kind of the point of it.
yeah, she ain't going nowhere. She's got to be like
She
light speed.
needs a ship or
Um
something to.
so we talked about like this having like political themes of like it's also touching on like the America versus Russia. They talk about the Cold War.
And I'm
They talk
into it.
about
I'm
like
into it.
the re-inflames that's happened recently. Some would argue the Cold War has never ended. Not the point right now. But also then looking at the Skrulls as a parallel, the Skrulls, this like militant faction of the Skrulls, again, is something that has been cooking for a while. I think they've just recently mobilized, like they found an opportunity. But I would imagine a lot of them were people who grew up post whatever happened Captain Marvel. And because of that, that's the reason they've grown up without a place to call home. Because that
Yeah.
is something that you see in real life quite a lot. The
I
Kurds
mean,
are like the most common example. They are an ethnic group that do not have their own country.
yeah, they confirmed that like this is just a group of the scrolls. It's not like all of the scrolls are there. Like
Yes.
we see
That
that
camp,
guy
that,
approach.
And
Yeah,
they've
we see that guy
even
approach the fence.
that
and see-
camp had, they said hundreds, so I'm assuming like 300 or something like that. There's probably other camps, you know.
Oh, that's a good point. There could be more camps. Yeah.
I'm so like, yeah, and like, yeah, man, like they're like if
and they're also doing like a good job, I think, at like explaining like, hey, the people that came to join the camp aren't necessarily all these militants per se, and so we have to be able to draw that line between like who's just a refugee and who's actually somebody
well,
that
so,
like
some of
we
those
might need to
hundreds are
take down,
like some of those hundreds
or like children.
are chilled. They just want to be amongst
They
their
just
own
want a home.
kind.
They just want
Yeah,
a
it's,
planet.
some of them were straight up kids, and so like that's what I mean is they're that was also part of the argument when they were like, should we go in hot or cold? And they were like, somebody else will kill you just for knowing the name Gravik. Whereas we kind of want to play more peaceful and not cause a bigger tiff within the Skrull community, as well as, again, not everybody who is in these camps is inherently a terrorist. I'm
Yeah.
putting that in quotes because it's all subjective at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
No, you're right. It's Gravik with a G, by the way. Gravik with a G.
I thought I said that.
You said
Yeah.
Gravik, and then Kravik.
I thought I was making a G sound there.
But the
He's a
end's gonna
G.
be
He's a G. Gravik.
Gravik. Travis Scott.
G. He's a G. I thought Kingsley Ben Adir, the actor, he did a pretty good job.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to learn more about that character
Performances-
before I say anything else.
The performances were good across the board. I can't think of a performance that was bad. The Ross thing was weird, but I think it was supposed to be weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a Skrull at the beginning, because again, like
as soon as he messed up that jump, I was like,
yeah.
When he was in the room and the guy was like talking about Skrulls and Ross was trying to talk it down, I thought it was like, Ross knows about this, but only
Well, that's my question
Like,
of
he
like
doesn't want
how
this to become like a thing that a lot of people know because this is so secretive. And so I thought he was going
how
to fight that dude in for the. For,
who shot the dude?
I assumed it was the Skrull who shot him as Ross.
What are we talking about?
Well,
When
because
Ross
no,
and that
Ross was
dude are
being choked
fighting,
though. It looked
Yeah.
like it got shot from the window or something. And that, and then
No.
were his hands in his
Ross
above him when
shot
he?
him from like
he,
underneath him.
Yeah, from the hip.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The one thing I was proud of, that when you go into that room, I had suspicion before him messing up the jump, because there was like a learn Russian, speak Russian book on the desk, and that means that that at least means the person that Ross was talking to wasn't a Skrull, because if you're a Skrull, you just learn the language, like you just get it. So that was my, I was like,
Oh,
so to me, I was like, out of the two people in this room, the one who's most likely to be a Skrull is Ross. Then it was confirmed when he fucking biffed it and died. but yeah, I didn't know until the jump. But like I was like, okay, maybe they're just trying to play on it, and maybe it's just there for show. I don't know. But that was the first thing that I noticed, where I was like, haha. But yeah. Any closing thoughts, Jordan?
I mean, so far I'm enjoying it. Again, I really hope that they nail the landing with this one. I don't want to see another
Unlike
MCU
Ross.
show fumbled. Hey, but yeah, I don't want to see another MCU show fail to be
Yeah.
paced well at the end. And so like this is the one where I'm like, come on, guys, you got it in
That's a
you.
really good point, though, because like the anticipation and like the hubbub about MCU shows were like up here, and ever since they've just gone down. Like people, like I think Secret Invasion has like the most potential, honestly, to be really really good.
And I think the first episode shows that because it felt like more movie quality in
yeah.
both in terms of what was going
And
on in it,
like,
in terms of like the acting, the cast of characters help with that too.
Yeah, yeah.
like in terms of pacing, like how many Marvel shows have there been? Like 6, 7.
WandaVision, Falcon, Loki, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. Do we if we maybe what if? I don't know if we count that.
I'd count that. Yeah, it's
And
MCU.
I don't believe I'm missing anything.
I would say like 2 of those are like greatly paced. I'd say Loki was great.
Well, Loki's pacing fantastic.
And then I know some people don't think this, but I thought Falcon Winter Soldier was perfectly paced in terms of like
I wouldn't
no,
say
like
perfectly.
I'm kidding.
like in terms of like setting up the threat and then like kind of building up to the end.
A lot of
Yeah,
it in my memory.
favorite is WandaVision was my favorite, but I don't think it's paced well. So like I totally
The
understand.
last episode. See, I don't mind with the way WandaVision was paced in terms of like other people hate that the last episode became a big fight, but I also get why you had to fight Agatha.
I don't think it was paced poorly. I just think in comparison to the other shows, I think it's not like at the top of the list.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I'm just glad we're back to like a street level show where it's just dudes talking
and shooting
and shooting.
Just guys being dudes.
Like to touch on the cameo thing, like I don't want to see like, you know, War Machine fly in or Hulk or She-Hulk, you know, super leap in. Like I think it would be cool if it's all like, but they need backup for sure. They need backup. Yeah, because like one of my favorite MCU scenes MCU scenes ever, I guess, is like the Loki Mobius like table you know, interview when he finds out he dies.
Mobius was a character, and I just smiled.
Owen Wilson, dude.
I was like, oh fuck, Mobius is great.
I miss him.
Like that scene was awesome. So like when 2 great actors just get to ham it up together, like
sure,
that's fantastic.
Maybe
I'm awaiting more. Like I said at the top, this episode was good, not great, but I do want to like carry on watching. I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, hear me out. What if, because of all the multiversal issues that have happened, the Skrulls actually took the form of the 2 other Spider-Men we saw in No Way Home, right? And so they're actually still in the MCU. They're in one of those pods. And then they're going to fix that. And then boom, that's how we get all 3 Spider-Men in the MCU permanently, guys. I got it. I figured it out.
Aaron Taylor Johnson returns
Fuck.
as Kraven the Hunter.
What do you mean returns? Has he even been
He hasn't
does
even.
that
Yeah, he
release?
hasn't even arrived as Craven to return as a Raven. Craven.
Return.
There you
Aaron Taylor Johnson turns Craven.
go.
We didn't see it coming,
We didn't.
I mean that's true. I guess.
dude. So many
He looks
Bro,
hot in
they
that
can-
movie. The movie looks like shit, but he looks hot.
people like
Movies
Spider-Verse.
are great.
Spider-Verse 10 out of 10, both of them.
Oh yeah.
Dog, you got to hand over the keys back to Disney, man. Besides that, like, come
Besides
on.
that, yeah.
Come on. Like, why are the bad guys not bad guys, bro? What's going on here?
Yeah. Well, we've clearly lost it because we're now talking about the Sony Spider-Man universe. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell for notifications. All our social media is in the description down below. Follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Who's this?